Today's video, we're going to talk about text automation for pairing with PPC/online advertising campaigns. Meaning, you send automated SMS text messages to people who have already contacted you through an ad campaign where you've driven someone to a landing page and they either filled out the form or called. This is going to increase the profitability of your ad campaigns a lot if you set this up. Why is that? Because very few people answer phone calls from people they don't know. So therefore, it's hard when you call the people who fill out your form to actually get contact with them anymore. The average is like 30% of the time you can call them and get contact with them. That is, if you don't answer or respond to the form lead within like 15 minutes time. Also, when they call and you don't answer the phone, which you should already have systems in place where you can use CallRail to shotgun blast out a call. So if one person doesn't answer, another one will answer. And if they don't answer, another one will answer. That'll all call like 5 different people at once. And whoever picks it up first gets the call. But if you don't have that, you send a text message out in response to get them to start engaging with you, because a lot of times, especially when you're talking about Google search ads, they're going to just call the next company in line by the time you call them back, and you just pissed away all of your money to get that phone call in the first place. There's a special software named Twilio that you could do this with, and that we've done this automation setup where, once a lead comes in, we start texting them, which can actually go on for a while. You don't have to just text them once to get the most results out of it. But I'm going to tell you about the results that we got with it so you understand how this will work for you. So if you watch to the end of the video, I'll explain what money you can actually make adding this to your overall so-called quote-unquote sales funnel that you have set up to make your ad campaigns that you're running right now more profitable. I am Corey Zyman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, a online advertising agency that offers guaranteed results to their clients. What that means is we do not charge our clients a management fee until we get them a certain minimum lift in the profitability up front. That is a certain cost per lead, ROI, or similar. No other agency on the planet offers such a guarantee, which should tell you something about the quality of the information that you're getting here on this video here today. So with that said, getting into the content, as I mentioned, so text automation, there's services out there that simple texting is a big one that you can actually stay in communication with somebody once you get their opt-in, if you will, get their phone number. And like if you want to text, instead of email drip sequences, like what you use through MailChimp, or an email program like that, where you email somebody and then every week you email them something else, or you can blast a certain message to all your email list. Programs like that, well, there's other software that does that exact same thing for texting. So you can text 50,000 people that are on a list that you have, which is very popular nowadays because the open rate on a text message is like 90%. That was what it was the last time I checked. Whereas in an email, you're lucky to get 25%, 30%. So it's very popular because and that's just simply because people get less text messages than they get emails. There's programs and people have been doing this for at least 10 years, having a subscriber base and communicating them through email. They do it through text because of the higher open rates and response rates. What I'm talking about here is using a similar text thing, if you will, but doing it to leads that come in to make the leads more profitable. You should technically do both, in my opinion. You obviously have to have an opt-in list to be able to communicate to a bunch of people on a list through text messaging, particularly because if you start sending text messages out to people who don't know who you are, they're going to really be pissed off. Unlike an email, they can easily ignore, and they're used to getting emails from people that they never heard of before. If you get a lead and you're not texting them, you're flat out leaving money on the table. There's sales that you should be getting right now today, if you run an ad campaign to a landing page or to your website right now, that you're not getting because you do not have this system set up to communicate with the leads that you have coming in. And there's a specific process here that I've pioneered that you can just copy that's going to be able to get you a lot more responses, which means more sales. That is, you're going to get in contact with a lot more of these people, unless for some reason you were already getting in touch with every single person every single time, and then you wouldn't necessarily get a jump in your profitability of your ad campaigns, but nobody gets 100% contact rate and with the leads that you have. I'm going to go into what the detail is on this 3-step process that we've used to add on to our PPC campaign funnel to make the PPC leads more profitable so we can spend more on ads. Once you can pay more for a lead because you're closing at a higher rate, you can now pay a higher cost per lead, and higher cost per lead means more advertising opportunities are available to us than we had before, and we can scale our results much more. Before I get into this strategy here though, I want to tell you right off the bat that if you like this information and you want solid advice to be able to make millions of dollars a year running ads for your business, you don't want to mess around. You should subscribe to this channel and subscribe now, because the information I'm sharing with you on this channel is coming from somebody who spends 40 hours a week doing ad testing and optimization of campaigns, specifically developing the strategy for a few dozen ad accounts that I'm personally responsible for getting guaranteed results on. And I tell you exactly what works and what doesn't work. This is unique because most of the other information that you find on YouTube and as well as online is coming from somebody who doesn't run any ads, or they run a couple ads and they're just talking out their ass basically. And as a result of that, you're not going to get any results from that. People that sell these courses aren't really running ads. They're just pretending to, and the information's useless. Trying to make ads work is something you only know if you're actively doing it, and because it changes so fast, you got to be doing it all the time to be abreast of what actually works, what doesn't work. So you should subscribe. I also got a great blog on my site at guaranteedppc.com/blog. The blog has step-by-step instructions to execute the strategies we're using to guarantee results for clients at our firm. So you should definitely check that out as well. It has the screenshots, everything you need to be able to deploy the strategies that are going to get guaranteed results for your ad accounts or through your ad accounts as well. With that said, getting back to the topic at hand here, I just want to say that this system here, obviously you could tweak it. You may think of a better way. If you want tried and true results that for sure get you more results from your ad campaigns, just follow this system. So what this system is, anybody who calls or fills out the form, like I was talking about earlier in this video, you're going to start off, or that's going to kick off a text automation campaign. You can set up that text automation campaign through Twilio. Twilio will allow you to text somebody based upon conditional logic. That is, somebody who calls a certain number, a text message can be sent out. Somebody who fills out a form and triggers their API, a text message can be sent out to the person who filled out the form. It can then kick off another infinite string of different text messages that can go out to somebody. It can send a text, wait a minute, text again, some other message. It also can customize the message. So if somebody fills out the form and they say they're looking for butt injections, they can actually have the text that gets sent out to them once they fill out a form on your site saying, hey, I see you're interested in butt injections. Send me a picture of your butt or whatever, and we'll get this process started. And you can get a much higher response rate from your leads that way, because it looks very personalized and not like a bot, which is the key to making money from bots, is to trick people into thinking it's a human, because people don't want to respond to bots. So the text automation that Twilio is going to provide you is going to be able to provide you, it's replacing what the salesperson normally had to do at your company so that you can respond quicker. Because you can respond quicker, you're going to get more overall contact with the leads that you're paying dearly for from your advertising campaigns you're running right now. So with that said, the tried and true system here to get 100% more contact rates with the leads that you've got is going to be like this. So the first thing that should happen if somebody calls or fills out a form, they should get a text immediately saying, thank you for inquiring. Someone will be in contact with you shortly to confirm we actually know that you responded. Don't worry. You don't have to worry that someone is not going to, or that someone's going to contact you. Then after about 30 seconds, you want to then have in the logic that Twilio is set up to send out a second text message, which is basically going to say, please send a picture of your insert blank. That'll get the person to, once they start talking with you, they're less likely to start talking to another vendor because they're busy talking to you. It'll interrupt their pattern of, oh, let's go to a website, fill out the form. Let's go to another website, fill out the form. Let's go to another website, fill out the form. You're actually going to get a higher contact rate, but you're also going to get higher conversion rates on the leads you're going to get because of that fact, okay? You can also add to that, like I said, if they fill out the form, you should have a drop down so that the form says, what are you interested in? Even if your landing page is about faucet installation, then what your form should say, what kind of faucet do you have? That way your text automation can start out saying, I know you're inquiring about to get a bathroom faucet installed. Please send a picture of your bathroom sink so that we can give you a quote right away. They will never be able to realize that that is a robot talking to them at that point in time. They'll almost always respond to that. We're talking 80+% of people who get that message are going to respond, whereas your typical response rate for your form, if you email somebody, is going to be 30% or less. So that's where your main results are going to come from. Then they're going to text you the picture. Then you're going to just go back and forth with them right away. Say, oh, okay, here's the quote. Or you start asking them more questions or whatever, but that kicks off the conversation. And if you want to monitor these texts, by the way, there are plenty of software out there that will help you respond to a text without having to need a cell phone. One of which, by the way, is CallRail, using their lead center, which is useful because it can track every conversation. So if once a customer calls back later, your salesperson could go to Lead Center, type in their name or their phone number, and see all the communication you had with them through that text string, if you will. If they don't respond, okay, your logic should be set up so that after 10 minutes, and you can actually set this up. So if you get a response, this doesn't happen. If they don't get a response, then this happens, which is they get a text saying, did you get my last text? Gonna make it seem like there's still a real human on the other side of this thing. And then that'll get of the 80% or the 20% that hasn't replied yet, you'll get another 50% of those that are left to reply. So you get like a 90% response rate when you do all this, assuming you're getting real phone numbers, your ad campaign set up to get real people with real demand. If you got a bunch of people who are bots or whatnot, you're not going to get these numbers. We'll just state the obvious. But if it's real people with real demand, you can expect those kind of numbers, which are fantastic. I mean, that's going to maximize the value of every lead that you get. Therefore, you can pay more per lead from your ad campaigns than you did before, which allows you to scale your ads more than you had before. As I mentioned at the start of this video, where most of the money you're going to make from having this set up. Twilio, by the way, is not very expensive. For less than $100 a month, you can have this system set up, then you're done. Did you get it set up? It's not difficult. Unless you're really technical yourself, you're going to need an IT person to set this up. You could basically go to Upwork if you wanted, hire somebody, spend $500, $1,000 to get this all the way set up. And then it's just set up and it runs automatically, and you're going to be making more money forever after. With that said, if you want somebody to set up this for you, this is something that, like I said, we've done here already. If you want us to set it up, we would. We could offer it as part of our overall services or as a standalone service. You can just reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about it. Let you know what it would cost, whatnot. I offer a free consultation to any new client, prospective client that comes to us at our firm at guaranteedppc.com. Be happy to have a conversation with you about it. Also, by the way, though, while you're talking, or in case you're interested as well, and while we're on the topic of services that we offer, we've been selling ad templates that have been very, very in demand and successful services that we are offering at the firm. We've worked in over 100 niche markets in the last 10 years running this agency. If we've already worked in your niche market, you do yourself a huge favor by buying the winning ad, landing page, campaign, all of it that we've already used to develop great results in your market, and copy paste that into your ad account and get the same results we're getting, of which we can tell you the results you're going to get with it up front. It's way cheaper, better, easier to do that than to figure out all the stuff that we had to figure out over years many times to get to those results. With that, we've got people that start whole other businesses from these templates because they work so good. It's basically the closest thing to having a business in a box that you can get. You start out with the known results that you can get from a campaign that sells a product or service before you ever get started even starting that business, and then it's pretty turnkey after that. We got people that generate leads because the templates are so good, sell those leads to people in that niche market and have a business just doing that by itself. If you want to get into e-commerce, the easiest way to do that is to sell a product that our client sells in country A, sell it in country B, with the templates that we've built up to sell that product in country B, like a mattress or printer toner or whatever. Know that it'll work up front once you got the ads broken in after a short period of time. So anyway, if you're interested in any of those other opportunities, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I mentioned that if you stick to the end of the video, I would tell you what kind of money that you were going to make. I pretty much covered that, if you will. Realistically, to bottom line it and to re-summarize what I said though, you're not responding to leads within 15 minutes each time, every time. Every lead you don't respond to within 15 minutes, you're going to at least double amount of closings you get from those same amount of leads installing this system and putting it in place. It's really literally that good. To go a bit further here, I would definitely recommend there's software for this. If you don't know how to find it, leave me a comment below. I'll point you to the exact site. Software out there where you can actually have it as well. When somebody fills out the form, immediately you get a call on your phone. The salesperson gets a call and it'll say, John Smith filled out the form. Press 1 to contact John Smith. and within 60 seconds you can respond to leads. That'll also increase the amount of money you're making per lead generated from your ad campaigns even more. That said, a lot of people aren't going to answer the phone because they don't know who's calling and whatnot, and that's where texting is going to fill in the gaps. So I would recommend technically that as well, but this is really good for getting, when you don't have a really good salesperson to pick up the phone, capture all the potential revenue you can get from your leads, because almost everybody is going to respond to your text. Like I was mentioning before, they feel comfortable with it. Frankly, the reason why a lot of people fill out the form is because they don't like talking to someone on the phone. They're not going to answer your call. Therefore, the text is going to make you more money because they don't want you to call anyway. They were hoping you email them. Anyway, that, if you're getting your typical everyday average 30% response rates on your forms now, because you don't answer them in 5 minutes, you technically can make 3 times as much for every lead that you're generating by instituting this text system on top of what you already have now to respond to these form leads. For phone calls, it depends on how many you typically miss. During business hours, if you only miss 10% of the calls, well, the other 10%, you're going to get at least twice as many sales from those missed calls than you get now. But the main thing with that is everybody doesn't answer the phone 24 hours a day, typically. You can actually have the phone call, text them, and even if you have an answering service, which most of them are horrible, you're going to be able to respond through text as well, and that'll overall increase the amount of sales you're going to make from the same amount of calls that occur after hours. It's like your automated system of making sales for you, if you will, or at least getting the process started. So in the morning, you've already got a picture of their wall that needs fixed or whatever, which, by the way, if there's no picture that can be sent, then you just obviously improvise and you say, like if you're a divorce lawyer, you're just going to say, where are you at with your situation? Have you decided for sure that you're going to give up your house or whatever it is, You've come up with a question, an open-ended question that they're for sure going to A, know how to answer right away, and B, feel compelled to want to answer because everybody wants to get whatever they have off their chest. Along with that, talk to an expert. I'm a divorce lawyer, going back to that. I'm going to say, thank you for contacting me about your divorce problem involving filing a petition for child custody. I've done 50 cases on child custody in the last year. I'm an expert in this field. What is your issue in terms of child custody? ? Everybody is going to want to respond to that because they want to know from an expert what to do. They want to tell their problems to you. Yes, this takes a lot of time to set up this automation, but it's absolutely worth it. You're making 50 grand a month now from your leads. You're going to make 100 once this is set up. It's that powerful. The other thing to mention here, by the way, if you have any questions about any of this, or also just want some quick guidance on how to set your automation up, or have a marketing related question for that matter, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. But with that said, if you're wondering how this text automation will interfere or not interfere with any tracking systems you have now, track how many calls are coming in from your ad campaigns, which is very important to track every call you're getting so that the algorithms that run your ads, you're running through Google, Bing, /Microsoft, Facebook, can consistently get you more calls because it looks at what works that has generated you a call versus not. Use your call tracking account to forward your calls to this Twilio number. So it goes through your CallRail number first, or your call tracking provider's number that they give you, sends people to Twilio, and then from Twilio, you can still have that text automation sent out. So you just add your CallRail layer on top of Twilio, and you can still track everything that you did before while still being able to do the text automation on the back end, if you will. So just wanted to point that out. Another thing to quickly mention here, one of the I've heard in the past was people use the go high level because they like the text automation features of it. All this conditional logic where, if somebody fills out the form, you can text them, or if they text them with XYZ message, and if they fill out this form, you can text them with this message. If they came back to the site again, you could text them different stuff. This says Twilio, using their system and their API and through their API, you can do all the same stuff that Go High Level SMS text automation can provide you there, and even better because it's totally flexible. You can do anything you want. If you want to text somebody and then text them 2 days later exactly with the XYZ message, and then text them a year later, it can all be set up exactly the way that you want. You can text with specific custom variables. So you can have their name on there at the start of your text. You can have the service that they were interested in. You can have, based upon what city they're in, hey, John, I just let you know that I went to high school in Denver, or whatever. Like, you know, I don't encourage, I guess, people to lie, but I'm just trying to throw out an example of what could be done if you wanted to with your text automation to make, because the name of the game is with this stuff, the more customized it is, the higher the response rate. You can go ahead and this is the same thing that applies to email marketing. The same thing applies to having a live chat on your site. I've talked about many times how you can double the amount of money you can make from ad traffic having a live chat on your site, having the live chat automatically respond using a chat bot saying that they're looking at a 4-pound baseball bat, that you say, hey, I'm a 4-pound baseball bat expert. I can tell you whether this 4-pound bat is going to be good for you because of that. What do you plan on using the 4-pound baseball bat for? Question mark. It's the same open-ended question, same idea. And you'll get 5% of people to respond to your live chat then versus the typical 1% or less because of how good the automation was set up with the custom variables like I was talking about. And the reason why it works is because 99% of people are too lazy to set it up. They just want the customers to buy and they don't want to have to work to get them to buy. The closer you come to what the consumer wants, truly, from you, the more sales you get to make. That's the golden rule, if you will, to make good money online. Figure out more and more what customers want and give them more and more of it. Because the quicker, easier, better that it is to do business with you, the more they're going to do it. At the end of the day, yes, people want a good deal or they might trust another brand and other people might have an advantage on you because of that. Customization and the empathy that you can build into what you're doing on the front end with the sales process can make up for a lot of that, truly. I already explained how much it can jump your numbers using it. Maybe even on top of the text automation, you had the live chat because that's just going to get you even more from the leads that you already got now coming to the site now as is, especially by the way for e-commerce, but even for services as well. Anyway, with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Thank you very much for watching as usual, and I'll see you in the next one.
Remember when I said landing page was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.